Shannon, weigh in here. Who will have the biggest strategic advantage, Baker or that Browns defense?
Skip, if you told me this was Tom Brady, there's no question in my mind that Tom Brady was able to help Todd Bowles when he went back and they played New England, Skip, because Tom Brady had been in that offense his whole career. So it's hard, and people are like, well, how? I said, but it's hard because I've heard checks. We have certain checks that I've been instituted and been ingrained in my mind for 7 years. And now you mean to tell me you want to come up with some dummy calls in a week just so we can throw somebody off? You're not going to do that, Skip. You're going to run your offense. You might give some fake dummy calls to try to throw them off their key and see how much information that the person has passed along. Go back to the Super Bowl, Skip. That Tampa Raiders.
I wrote it down. I got all the stats right here.
John Gruden.
Yep. Super Bowl 37.
That was John Gruden's offense.
Tampa Bay 48, Oakland 21. Go ahead.
That was his offense.
I know.
When they line up in this formation and you hear them say this is what's coming. That's why they dominated him. That's why they sacked him as many times as they did. That's why they picked him off and had 2 pick sixes in a game. That's why. I don't believe if that was Tom Brady, if that was Peyton Manning, I'll say, you know what, Skip? Boy, they're in trouble because Peyton's gonna give them all the checks from an offensive standpoint, Skip. But I don't believe it is. And look, Joe Woods has been the defensive coordinator. They know tendencies of Baker. Like when he gets in trouble, he's going to do this or certain things like that. But I'm not. I don't think it's going to be to the. I don't think it'll be to the point of what Tom was able to relay to Todd Bowles about New England, because he knew it front was and backwards. Josh knew he knew it front was and backwards. It was just now. Not only am I playing a cat and mouse game with Todd Bowles, what else? I'm playing a cat and mouse game because Tom is standing on the sideline looking like, hold on. Oh, you see that? Hey, Todd, this formation right here, watch for this play. Alert this, alert that. So he's able to pass along information. You're talking about somebody that's been on an offense, Skip, for 20 years. You go back to Peyton Manning, that's Peyton's offense. You're not going to run an offense with Peyton Manning. That's the same offense that Peyton ran, and you don't think he can tell you everything that you're going to run in that formation. So I don't believe that it's going to be to the extent that a lot of people say, well, Baker's a quarterback. I don't believe it's going to be to the extent that if it was a guy that had been 7, 8, 10 years like a Peyton, like a Tom Brady, or Russell Wilson in Seattle's offense, okay, maybe you got to something. But I don't think it's going to have the impact that people think it will.
Okay. I do believe that from the start, you have underestimated Baker Mayfield's football IQ. I'm not saying it's Brady-esque or Peyton-esque. It's not. But it's fairly high. It's high enough to give him a slight edge this Sunday at home. In these circumstances, to me, what I have routinely seen is it favors the coach or the player, especially the quarterback, who left. Because he gets to go to a blank slate over here. He gets to start all over here. But they stay the same because they do what they do. Yeah. And the Browns still think, from all the quotes I read, I just think in their hearts of hearts, they think they're better. They think they're a more legit team than the Panthers. Right. So Stefanski is now, he's up and running. He's established head coach. And he says, I do what I do. So Baker gets to go to a bad team, a team that throughout the offseason in the ESPN Power Rankings was ranked dead last, 32nd. The coach is on a hot seat. He saw the light. He handed the job to Baker. And now offensively, they're a blank slate. They can kind of make it up on the fly. They can do whatever they want to do. They're not entrenched because they haven't won it. They've won 5 games in 5 games under Matt Rule the last 2 years. Right. So it's not like we're in concrete. We do it this way. By God, we don't care who you are. No, they do care. Right. And so the Gruden example is, and it's hard to compare Baker Mayfield and John Gruden. Right. But Gruden's offense. I know, but the point was, Gruden goes and he takes over. You want to talk about a team that Tony Dungy had built to the gills. Yes. I mean, it was loaded to the. It's spilling over with Hall of Fame talent that's on the verge, and it just needed a catalyst. It needed a lightning rod coach to come in and give it a little bit of juice and electricity and all that. Okay, but Gruden obviously knew the Raiders. Bill Callahan taken over. I was covering the Raiders at the time, and Bill Callahan's a tough guy, and he's like, hell with you. You know, okay, so you went down there and you took over a loaded team, but I'm going to show you, I'm going to do what we did all year because my quarterback was the MVP of the league. Yep. So I'm going to let my quarterback do what he did. And I'm going to let Jerry Rice and Tim Brown do what they did all year because they were really good that year and they caught a whole bunch of balls. And Gruden is saying, that's exactly what they're going to do. I know it. I know it inside and out. I know it better than they know it because I installed it. They're just running what I installed. And then he also knows the Raider defense and the concepts. I know how to beat that defense, and they will do exactly what they've been doing because they're the Oakland bleeping Raiders.
Yes.
They're proud. Okay? The Browns have an element of pride because they're the more talented football team. Maybe not with Jacoby Brissett. That's the whole issue. But Baker gets a blank slate over here, so he can tell his defense, he can tell his offense that they can make it up on the fly because they're not in concrete, because they have no concrete. They have no foundation. It's a quicksand foundation, right? So I give him the edge because he's not stupid, and he can help his defense and definitely help his offense just revamp. We can do anything that we want because I went somewhere else. But I have the knowledge. This is going to be an inside job for Baker because he knows what they're going to do because they're not going to change radically what they do.
You can't. Skip, you've heard that terminology. I mean, Stefanski's been there going on his third year.
That's right.
He's been there for 3 years now, and you've heard these checks. Like if I go to a West Coast and I see somebody do this, watch the slant, square out, come back, does this, the dagger. I know what those concepts are.
Will they try to finesse some of that, maybe?
I'm sure they'll give them some dummy calls to see what they're listening to. But Skip, as a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman, I'm listening to things. So if I hear you say certain things over and over and you do it, well, I I already know what you're going to do. So when I hear it, so we had to speak in codes. When we wanted the combo block myself on the tackle, I would say burger and fries. Well, that's a combo. I can't say combo. The defensive lineman gonna know it means combo. Or if I say
maybe a smart defensive lineman would say, "Well, that sounds like a combo to me," right?
But we were done long gone. By the time he realized this, we were done gone. Or I would say, Gilligan, you're on an island. You're by yourself. I'm by myself. So
I would have decoded that in a second. I would have been all over.
You're like, what you talking about, Gilligan?
The minnow.
So Skip, you have to do certain things to see, and sometimes they did. Oh, you by yourself, Sharpe? Sometimes they would heard it on. So I believe some of the defensive linemen had passed that information along, or when you hear them say this, the Broncos are doing this, about something like that, Skip. But for the most part, or you hear like you couldn't say a text block, which I was blocking down. If you said text, the defensive lineman would jump out the way. So we had to say Houston, we had to say Dallas. So you give off key things, and then. So once they hear it a couple of times, Skip, he knows, he jumps out the way. Then we just started saying, okay, you know what I got. We do it like that. I just think the thing is, like Baker, if he were to hear checks, he says, okay, if you line up in this form, if they come out in this formation, if your defense line up like this is what they like to check to. He can probably help him in that aspect. But I think Stefanski is going to look, like you said, we got the better team. So what? They know what we're going to do.
Okay.
The Cowboys, you know what the Cowboys going to do. They're going to toss it left or toss it right to Emmett. Well, stand up under them 300-pound, 330-pound hogs of Nate Newton and Tuanay and Stefanski and all those big Gogan and Eric Williams.
I told you once what North Turner told me in 1992 when they broke through and won the Super Bowl against the Buffalo Bills. He said, I keep hearing people call me a genius. We run 5 plays. They run Emmett left or Emmett right.
Hand off and toss.
And they throw to Michael in cut or out cut, right? And it's just like, that's kind of what they do.
That's it.
And you know exactly, they're just better than you. Okay, so is Cleveland that much better than Carolina? I don't think so. But that's what their mindset will be.
I definitely think they believe their defense is better than Carolina's offense. And I think the thing is, what they're going to try to do is minimize Jacoby Brissett's participation in this game by running Kareem Hunt, by running Nick Chubb. I think that's what they're going to try to do. But they says, okay, hey, Myles Garrett, you know, you're the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. What better way to get off to a great start than give us a 3-sack, script sack, and, forced fumble situation like that? Hey, Jadavian, we gave you big bucks to come back. Denzel Ward, you got a $100 million contract.
And by the way, Myles Garrett is going up against a rookie left tackle starter. We talked about Tyler Smith. Well, Ekwonu is the 6th overall pick, so they're going to throw him right into the fire and see if he can hold up against Myles Garrett.
Yes.
Right?
Yep, you're exactly right.
Okay, now, to the subtext of this, you have indicated that you think Baker might be overloaded with emotion on Sunday and play out of his skull, you know, like just play over his skis where you're just trying to do too much.
Too much.
Okay, what was the underlying theme last year when he was hurt? But it was reported in Cleveland, I think Mary Kay Cabot first had it, that Baker felt like he was being somewhat sabotaged by Stefanski because Stefanski was not putting him in the right positions to do what he did best. Okay, well, he's going to have to, even though he shot that down, I should make this point, because he immediately tweeted, clickbait, you and many other Cleveland local media continue to be about drama, stirring reports with no sources or facts. Don't put words in my mouth so you can put food on your table. I'm not your puppet. So that was his response to that allegation that he was suggesting somehow internally that he was being sabotaged, okay? But my point is, he did come out with these T-shirts.
Yeah,
okay, the T-shirts say, I'm off the leash,
right.
Like I'm off the dog leash, right?
So what's he saying then?
Okay, doesn't it sound like he's saying,
exactly.
I'm not on your leash anymore?
Thank you.
Okay, well, you can't overspill with emotion because the emotion will spill all over you.
Right.
And you won't be able to see past the emotion clouding your vision.
Skip, there have been a lot of teams that's moved on from players, but it's different when that player is a quarterback. You look at the emotion that Tom had for New England. You look at the emotion that Peyton Manning. If you didn't know better, you would never knew that Peyton Manning spent the lion's share of his career with the Colts. Hell, if you'd have thought he played all 18 years with the Broncos. He lives in Denver now. He's always at the Broncos practicing. He's helping Russell Wilson navigate what it's like to be in the Denver community. He's big in the community in Denver.
The Indy owner eased him right out the back door with a nice press conference, but just patted him on the head and said, thanks for all you did. We'll see you later.
Paid him the salary in which he was hurt, $26 million. Put him a statue right out in front of the building.
Yep.
Peyton said thank you and got back on his plane for fame and went back to Denver.
Okay, but he also said, I'm drafting Andrew Luck with the first overall pick. Thank you very much, and God bless.
And Tom, I mean, it's gonna be a while before Tom get over what transpired in New England. It's gonna be a while before he gets over that skill. I'm not saying he's never gonna come back, but I'm saying that emotion is still raw. He doesn't have a whole lot of love for Coach Belichick because he doesn't feel like Coach Belichick ever embraced him in his 20 years there. He never said the glowing things about him that he says about Mac Jones, and that's going to rub him the wrong way. And so Baker, like, hold on, bro. I did something Skip Bayless keep telling y'all every show that I won you a playoff game, something you hadn't done in 25, 26, 27 years.
1994.
And y'all just move on without your boy?
Yep.
Let me show you what you missed. Let me show you what y'all missing out on.
Yeah, okay. If that's your mindset, you're going to lose. Because you're going to try too hard, and you're going to end up throwing it 3 times to them because you're trying to force balls into tight windows to say, watch this.
Skip, that's just the emotion of it.
His intellect will tell him exactly what the defense will give him, and he has to take even the little things that he knows this defense will give up because he knows where the soft spots are.
Right.
And if he'll just play within himself, they will win this game. Simple as that. But can Baker play within himself?
It's hard, Skip. When you break up in any relationship, what does the girl try to do? She try to go get a hotter, more in shape, bigger name guy than the guy she broke up with. What does the guy get? He tried to find him somebody finer, better looking than the woman that he broke up with.
Okay.
Even though it might not be in his best interest.
Okay, I got it. But does unleashed mean that he's going to throw 5 60-yard touchdown passes?
No.
I don't think so.
But it goes in the face of what he's saying about clickbait. If you're going to come out with a T-shirt, and we're going to talk about this a little later, you're going to come out with a T-shirt to talk about unleashed or whatever.
Off the leash.
Off the leash. So it makes it seem like they were holding you back.
That's what he seemed like he was suggesting. Yep, I agree. Here we go.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.